Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're going to be talking about if size matters. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. Alright, so we got the new Solar Auxilia box coming out for pre-order this Saturday. So we're going to take a look at the tank size comparison of some of the new stuff. So put those tape measures down and pay attention, gents. Solar Auxilia tank size comparison, here's how they measure up. The Solar Auxilia Battle Group is available for pre-order this Saturday, which will be the first time these elite soldiers join the ranks of plastic in the Horus Heresy. The Solar Auxilia fought alongside the Legion Astartes during the Great Crusade and the subsequent Civil War, supporting the Space Marines and the vast cohorts of infantry and wide range of armor, from the nimble Hermes Light Sentinel to that rolling fortress we all know and love, the Stormhammer. Despite their prolific presence during the Horus Heresy, some of these tanks may be less familiar due to the skew towards the action of the Legion Astartes. Our unbiased reporting, however, will put your size-based concerns to rest. Alright, so we can't quite put it on the frame here, but we basically have like two of the new sized and new chassis tanks. And then we have the Le Mans Russ chassis tank here at the bottom. And then we've got a Legion Astartes. And then we've got a little bro here on foot. So worth noting also that a lot of the popularity behind this box set is not just going to be for 30K. So we don't know what's going to happen with this. We don't know how many Games Workshop has made. But for me, this is a really big release. One, because Horus Heresy has basically been like all Loyalists and Trader Marines. So basically like all Space Marines in plastic thus far. So this is like the first big non-plastic range release, which is obviously a big deal. Astra Militarum is actually really popular just in general. And then all of that is like 30K type demand. We don't know how much Games Workshop has produced, but these launch boxes in general tend to be really popular and do really well as there's a lot of value inside of them. And they're usually the first go at something. And then that being said, on top of that, a lot of this stuff is like 40K compatible. Now, technically, it's different models and different ranges, but like there's nothing stopping you from using these models for your Imperial Guard in 40K or your Astra Militarum. And the same thing with the tanks as well. Some of the sizes are a little bit different. Some of the armaments might be off by a little bit, but there's really nothing stopping you from like clearly representing what it is in 40K and then using it for that. So I do think that there's going to be like a split demand or like a double demand for Warhammer Horus Heresy and then also for Warhammer 40K. So I do suspect this is going to be a really popular release and sell out. So that being said, if you are excited by this, if you are after this, I would definitely not wait around for like these boxes to be discounted months down the road, as I do suspect this is going to be a quickly selling box. So that being said, let's take a look at our little image right here. And keep in mind, I'm not like super familiar with the names on some of these tanks as well, so I may say the wrong thing here, but here we have that new chassis setup, and then this is like the Le Mans Russ like equivalent, or I think it's the predecessor. And then here's like our transport version, the one that's included in the box set. And then just scrolling down here a little bit, here we see like the 30K Le Mans Russ right there. And then I want to say this is the new Basilisk variant, but I could be wrong about that. But for size comparison, we can see them next to a individual soldier here on foot. So quite a big difference between the two, a lot more in like the length, but overall this new tank is just chunky. This one is like the actual transport itself, but very, very cool design. And obviously we can see like a lot of similarities. The Indomitable Le Mans Russ is actually the smaller end, shorn of its 41st millennia era sponsons and sporting a sleek design with yards of trim that demands polishing before every engagement. The steward of the Imperial stable is dwarfed by the Malcador heavy battle tank, but far more versatile. The Malcador itself predates the Le Mans Russ design, created during the Age of Strife and renamed after the Malcador the Sigillite. These mighty tanks are well known for their impressively deceptive speed on the battlefield, thanks to a powerful, if temperamental, drive system. Okay, so I guess that's like one of the biggest distinguishing factors is the old school Le Mans Russ does not have like the side sponsons. Now, overall, I'm not sure if they're going to be exactly compatible, but like the new Le Mans Russ kit does come with the two separate turret options, and then each of those options is going to come with a set of sponsons. And obviously, you can only put two sponsons on the tank at a time. So most people that have a more recent kit for the Le Mans Russ, since Games Workshop repacked it, raised the price, and started including both of the turret sprues, is going to have a bunch of extra sponsons. So it's not crazy to think that with some minor conversions, that you'll be able to slap a couple of those bad boys, your extras, on the side of the Le Mans Russ, and then rock these out in 40K without any problems. So that being said, we can see here the massive size difference on the actual models themselves. Very cool on the plows. We see some similarities between the actual barrels themselves. This is pretty cool because the turret looks like it can rotate back and forth like left and right, but it is restricted by like what amounts to like a little cage over top of it, a little bit of extra armor. So it definitely has like a neat little look to it. as opposed to like the Lumion Rust full ability to like rotate the turret. And then of course we see like instead of having the sponsons that stick out on the sides, like their current design Le Mans Rust, these ones are sort of like inset into the tank, but still have like the similar to like the front kind of like heavy bolter mounting point. So very cool. Definitely like the design of these. Definitely like the overall look. These paint jobs are obviously very cool as well. But I'm really looking forward to rocking out some of these Le Mans Rusts in my 40k army. It's not all fun and guns on the battlefield though. The men and women of the Solar Auxilia are prepared to take every front by foot if need be. But the Dracosan armored transport gets them right where they need to be with its capacity for 20 troopers. This versatile chassis can even forgo half its load to install a thundering demolisher cannon. The Auxilia Basilisk and Medusa specialize in opposite directions, adapting the Le Mans Rust chassis to carrying either a massive Earthshaker cannon or Medusa mortar respectively. Okay, so again, here we see the Le Mans Rust, the new style right there, and then we see the actual Basilisk, which was recently shown off, and very cool. We see like the mounted Earthshaker cannon on top. I do like the 40k Basilisk. They're definitely cool. The big shield on front, the little like exposed back. But these are pretty awesome as well. So I would expect to see a lot of people using these 30k tanks in their 40k armies. Especially if the Basilisk stays sold out, since it's been essentially out of stock for like a year now. But I'm a big fan of all of these different variants right here and the ability to swap between them if that's what you do want to do. I really like the ram on front and just like the overall like kind of trim on these tanks. Very, very cool. Definitely some nice looking pieces right here. You can start your very own Solar Auxilia Armored Company with the new Battle Group Army Box, which will be available to pre-order on Saturday. It contains a sturdy Le Mans Rust, a capacious Dracosan armored transport, 2 10-man las rifle sections, a line command section, and an Atheon heavy sentinel. Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products, including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now back to the video. So very nice looking tanks right here. Definitely a big fan of the size comparison and everything. Seeing these things next to each other. I'm not sure exactly what options are going to be in the kits that are in the box set. But what it amounts to is you're basically going to get one of these right here and then one of the Le Mans Rust as well. And then it sounds like we'll have the option to swap out the actual demolisher cannon on the front or else the capacity to transport 20 troops. And then I don't think we're going to get too many options with the actual Le Mans Rust itself. And then here we can see this is like the mortar on top, but still that Le Mans Rust chassis. And then we saw down below the Basilisk Earthshaker cannon on top as well. So I'm assuming, and I'm pretty sure we saw in an article, that those two are going to be a single kit right there. So you'll basically be able to swap between the Earthshaker cannon or the mortar to build one of those two variants. And then I think later in the year, we don't know exactly when, we're going to see the big boy come out. And then I'm not sure exactly what options we'll have with that. Probably like just some different barrel options for like the various variants. But overall, we see that that is like a very similar chassis, if not the same one, with just like some variants on like whether or not the sponsons are on there or like the flip out doors if you're doing like the transport capacity. Because it does look like this piece right here, at least in the image, is sort of like an additional piece that would go on top and then cover up the little area where the sponsons are mounted. And then overall, the rest of this stuff looks like it's basically just like little accessories that go on top, or else like the different kind of like top piece, whether it's going to be for a turret or that extra capacity for transport. But regardless, very nice looking models right here. Definitely expect this release to be very popular. So if you are after the new Solar Auxilia Launch Box, I wouldn't mess around. Let me know if you're as excited for these new tanks as I am. Are you going to be using them in 30k, potentially in 40k, a little bit of both? Always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. Special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the video. And if you are after this new launch box, check out the link in the description to save 15% on Games Workshop products. Their pre-orders go live Friday night or Saturday technically at midnight. And make sure to tell them that Warhammer Man sent you. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and I am definitely picking up a couple of these. And I'm out of here.